Distorted Wish, a Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction by FeatheredMask. Chapter 7, Uncovering Adrien. Summary for this chapter. MariChat does some snooping on her house guests, and plans are discussed? ? MariChat crept over to the line of computers, keeping an eye out for anyone who might take a little too much notice to what she was doing. She gave another glance around as she sat down. Seeing nobody looking her way, she leaned in, going for the internet browser. Once there, though, she was at a loss of what to type in, her hands hovering over the keyboard. That small vertical line flashed impatiently in the search bar. Looking for info on your house guest? MariChat jumped with some sort of shriek from her mouth, scrambling to hide the computer screen from view. Alia just chuckled at her. Didn't mean to scare you. Alia pulled over the chair from the next computer to join MariChat. I never got to look him up either. Just a hunch, but I really don't think that's his real name. Together, they typed in the name, Adrien. MariChat waited with bated breath to see Aller's real face pop up on the screen, but the search results offered less than helpful results. Well, it's a very Christian name, MariChat supplied weakly, scrolling through the various web pages dedicated to saints, churches, and advent calendars. Maybe we're just not searching the right thing. She reached in to take the keyboard. A few minutes of absorbed attention and several refined searches later, MariChat had to admit defeat. This isn't working. Here. Alia took the keyboard, clicking around to find police reports. Maybe he's on a missing persons list. So, he obviously lives somewhere in Paris, right? Otherwise, he'd take more time to get here when akumas attack. I've never thought about it like that, MariChat admitted. So we should be looking for reports from Paris, of a boy about our age. He's gone missing in the past week or two. That narrowed their search considerably, refining it down and throwing out the extra random facts. Police and news sites were what they wanted. Just as they seemed to be hot on the trail, the answers about to be served to them on a silver platter, they reached the end of the list, having run out of reports and posts within their time and location parameters. Both MariChat and Alia fell back from the screen with a groan. All they have here is Adrien, MariChat complained. It's another dead end. Alia sighed. Your boy is really taking up all the attention the media has from missing persons. Widening the time frame and area to a few miles outside of Paris was a pointless endeavor as well. A few headshots of boys around the right age popped up, but they had already discounted the extra time and distance. None of them had all three traits of blonde, Caucasian, and green eyes anyway. MariChat knew that didn't matter. Chat Noir had already told Ladybug it wasn't his real face. But Alia beside her didn't have that information, and neither did MariChat as far as their local stray knew. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe there's something we haven't thought of, like some reason there's no missing person report filed on him. He has bad home life, right? Maybe nobody has noticed he's gone yet. Classic case of neglect. Really? MariChat didn't want to believe her kitty really had such a bad life. It made her heart hurt, to consider that she had been there beside him and spent so much time with him and didn't notice a thing. That would be terrible. It would explain things, like how he can just run off from his friends and family so often to run around as Chat Noir. Alia leaned forward and navigated to the lady blog. A video began loading, blipped, and then autoplayed the most recent footage. An akuma fight, both heroes swinging in to save the day. If people don't notice you, or don't care about the whereabouts or well-being, it's easy to take on the time and responsibilities of a hero. Doesn't really explain Ladybug unless she's in the same place. Geez, that's depressing, thinking we're treating our heroes so crummy. MariChat almost laughed nervously, but this was not a situation in which to laugh. That would be terrible, yeah, but maybe her parents let her be more independent? We know they both don't know each other's identity, so... She let it trail on a hopeful note. What are you two doing? MariChat flailed at the second surprise to her secret investigation. This time, she tipped her chair back and squeaked as the entire chair fell, leaving her staring up at Alia and Nino from the floor. Nino smiled sheepishly down at her. Sorry about that, MariChat, he apologized, giving her a hand up. Hey, Nino, Alia greeted, picking up the chair. Well, before you scared the daylights out of MariChat, we were doing some research, trying to follow up on the lead. MariChat sat down gingerly, and Nino leaned in to look in between them at the screen. Not working out too well, huh? No, MariChat sighed. We ran into a few snags. Nino's eye caught on to the various tabs they had open next to the Ladybug site. Still no news on Adrien? Really, I'm sure he'll turn up soon, he reassured the two. You shut it with your theory. You think he ran away, we know, Alia said, but the words held no malice. The least you can do is not mention it around MariChat. Adrien's my friend. I'm worried too, Nino said softer, heard in his voice. He just tells me stuff, you know? I just get thinking on that stuff. MariChat interrupted them before Nino could go on. We weren't looking for news on Adrien. There's someone else we were looking into. Nino looked between them, one eyebrow raised. I don't know whether to encourage this, but I'll bite. Does this have anything to do with the rumor I've been hearing about a new friend MariChat has? Alia snickered and then quickly wiped the smile off her face when MariChat shot her a glare. You could say that. When school that day let out, MariChat began the walk home as usual, enjoying the frosty atmosphere of Paris beginning to chill as the days ticked closer to Christmas. Up until she remembered that she was on a clock with the deadline rapidly closing in. MariChat dashed home. She didn't live far from school, but the Ladybug post was hot on her mind. She sprinted into the bakery, grabbed Aller by the arm as she passed the counter, and dragged him to the back door and up the stairs. Princess, this is a little sudden. We need to talk, MariChat interrupted, continuing to lead him, with probably more force and faster than needed, up the stairs. About you and jumping around Paris without a mask. So you heard about that? Aller laughed nervously, managing to twist around and walk behind her without twisting her own arm in the process. About that, really, I can't explain. It's on the Ladybug. She cut him off before he could explain. Alia told me earlier so I could tell you before she puts it up. In a few minutes, hundreds of people across Paris will know your face. This face, she emphasized, gesturing at his shocked kitten expression. MariChat could see the gears turning in his head. Aller believed she hadn't figured out this wasn't his real face, so while this was not actually breaching his identity to the public at large, she had to believe she believed that was the case. She expected him to craft up some fake concern. Princess, I'm a superhero, he said, summoning up a serious air, brushing off her concern and her, she had to admit, scolding. I can take care of myself. But if too many details get out, Hawkmoth might start targeting your family if he thinks I'm staying here. My worry is about you, not about people knowing who I am. MariChat brought Aller to her room and closed the top door, looking around for any possible eavesdroppers. She'd already been surprised twice when she thought she was alone. She took a steadying deep breath. It'll be fine. And don't even think about suggesting you leave and go somewhere else. It's too cold out and your suit it doesn't look that warm. There was also the fact she didn't want him out on his own in the winter. She didn't want to put another friend in that position of being cold and alone on December. There are plenty of Chat Noir fans in Paris. I'm sure I can find a few couches to crash on. No. MariChat shot down that plan. She softened at the sight of Plague forever sleeping on a pillow with cheese crumbs scattered around him. As long as you lay low here and be discreet when you leave and return, in costume, then nobody will find out you're here, and everything will be fine. Totally fine. Perfect plan. What? About that, Princess. What did you do, Aller? She demanded. A few people might, already know my name, and they might also know I'm here, he edged, rubbing the back of his neck. He joined Plague on the chaise. I've been working in the bakery all day, and some of the customers are, chatty. MariChat gaped at Aller. She sighed, but it sounded more like controlled panic than a sigh. That's fine. It's all fine. She paced around her room, shooting a glare at Aller. He raised his hands in defense. She was the one who insisted he stay, after all. But she hadn't expected this kind of nightmare from housing her dear superhero partner. We can work with this. It'll be fine, MariChat said, reassuring herself more than Aller. We can just say that you're working here. Part-time. Yeah. No need to mention that you're actually staying here. Aller grinned as she passed him again in her pacing. Sounds perfect. Problem solved, then. No, not solved. Eller's grin soured to a grimace. But you have to be more careful out there with your face. She strayed from her pacing to boot up her computer. She blushed at the reminder that her computer wallpaper was a collage of Adrien, and resisted the urge to change it, lest she draw attention to it and be seen as weird. Being a fan of a celebrity was perfectly normal, even if Aller was probably aware that celebrity was also her school classmate. But Aller could mind his own business and let her have her passions. He was a pun-loving guy who hopped around Paris in skin-tight black leather in broad daylight. He had no room to judge, she fiercely thought to herself. You need to read this, she said, shaking off her internal rambling. She navigated to the Ladyblog. Instead of autoplaying a video, Alia's new post was front and center. A photo of Valor standing on a roof holding his baton featured prominently, right under the shocking headline of, Our hero is ditching the mask? Aller stared at the photo. How did she get that picture? End of Chapter 7.